Well, happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, March 17th in the year 2026. And welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Thom. Did you ever have one of those favorite uncles growing up who kept everyone laughing because he was telling stories, maybe drinking, getting on your mom's nerves because he was her younger brother, and did I say drinking? Yeah. I had some great uncles on both my mom and dad's side of the family. And my uncle, Robert Tankersley, passed this past weekend. He'd been down for quite a while, and it's sort of a shame that as we age and sickness takes over, we lose that thing that has defined us most of our lives. That energy, that enthusiasm, that spark that makes us unique. My uncle was one of a kind. He was special. He had lots of girlfriends, and when I was little, he would take me with him to visit them. I was asked once why men, when death comes calling, someone they know well, men then focus on the fun things that occurred during the individual's life. I don't know that that's a bad thing. When I think of my uncle, I smile, a big smile. He was like that. He made you smile. He made you laugh. He believed in enjoying life. I remember his story of taking Ricky Nelson's girlfriend. You may or may not remember Ricky Nelson if you've been around that long, but there was a show called Ozzie and Harriet. Ricky Nelson was one of the sons. Ricky Nelson was a singer and also an actor. My uncle said that they were at this club in Hollywood one night. He was in Los Angeles, and Ricky Nelson had this new car with the butterfly doors that opened up like that, and he had an old raggedy Plymouth, and he said he gave Ricky Nelson's girlfriend a choice. She could get in that new car and ride with Ricky Nelson, or she could get in that Plymouth and ride with him. He said, according to him, she got in the Plymouth and rode with him. And knowing my uncle, I don't doubt it. He was a one-of-a-kind character. Thanks for everything, Uncle Blue. That's what we called him, Blue. I'm so glad our paths crossed. Our G-list guest today is Sam Johnson. Sam Johnson is an instructor at Auburn University, a consultant, and manager of a family business. Sam retired from ExxonMobil, having worked in all three global business segments and led projects in the United States and internationally. He's lived in Texas, Malaysia, and New Jersey. And prior to joining ExxonMobil, he was a consultant in Michigan and on the faculty at Auburn University and Tuskegee University. He has degrees in industrial and systems engineering from Auburn, and he and his wife now live in Montgomery, Alabama. And I've been knowing Sam since 1970. So we look forward to that conversation. Our show today, of course, is brought to you by the consulting firm of Best Girl. So let's catch up to Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossom, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Best Girl continues to customize the solution that fits your needs. So let's go to the round table and see what Barbara Wallace Edwards and Michael Walker have for us this morning. Good morning, Barbara Wallace Edwards. How are you this morning?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing well, other than cold. How are you?
I'm doing great. It is cold. I thought we were done with the cold, but not quite yet. What's going on in your world?
Saying earlier, we had Saturday and Sunday, we had almost 80-degree weather here in Birmingham area. And yesterday we had snow. Quite a bit of snow accumulated early morning yesterday. By midday, my yard and several around me was covered in snow. And then
Wow.
by 3:30 yesterday afternoon, it was all gone. It was like springtime was back. So we never know what kind of weather. As they say in Alabama, you can experience all 4 seasons in one day. So
There you go.
that's
There
probably
you
what we're
go.
expecting again today. But happy.
When I was up at Buffalo, we played a game. And the first quarter, the sun was out. Second quarter, it rained. Third quarter, it snowed. And the fourth quarter, the sun was back out.
Yeah, it's sort of like Alabama. That's the kind of weather we might have here. You never know.
Yeah. I'm sorry I cut you off. You were getting ready to say something.
I was going to say Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today is St. Patrick's Day, and you may see people in green. And if you don't have green on when you go out and someone pinches you, you'll understand why. So be sure to put on something green if you get outside today.
Can you have on green that's not visible?
You can, but if they don't see it, they can pinch you, and it's legal to do it. So
Okay.
you might have to tell them you have green on somewhere.
I'll probably try to avoid that situation. Good deal. Where's Michael Walker? Let's see what he's got going this morning. Good morning, Michael Walker. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, TG. I'm doing well. Good morning to you, Barbara. I hope you are as well.
Good morning,
Man,
sir. I am.
That's a nice shirt you got on
Isn't
there.
that a nice shirt?
You like this shirt, man?
Yes.
Yeah, a buddy of mine gave it to me, man. Y'all can't have one.
I have one, thank you. Same buddy gave me one too.
Oh, okay.
You have to explain it. So that saying comes from Shakespeare. It's from a play. It's at the end of Othello, where he says, "Speak of me as I am." It's something that I used to do with my good buddy Dr. John Nixon. He started me down that road. So, but anyway, go ahead, Michael. What you got?
Well, there's quite a few things going on. One thing that I wanted to mention is a complete family dynasty, if you will, is now coming to an end. And what I'm talking about is the Ficklin family. They have served presidents in the White House for nearly 8 decades.
How do you say that name?
Ficklin, Ficklin.
Okay.
Never heard of them before.
Yes, and it's interesting the fact that they have served from Franklin Delano Roosevelt to Barack Obama.
Wow.
And they have a book coming out, the last one that's just retired. His name is Rory, and that's Wrory, Ficklin. His book is entitled An Unusual Path, 3 Generations from Slavery to the White House.
Wow.
And and I guess it will be his great grandfather was born in slavery and left in Virginia and moved to Ohio because conditions were more suitable there, got a job, and for some reason moved back to Virginia and bought 37 acres of land, and that's where he started to farm and what have you. He had his first wife that died of childbirth, then a second wife died of childbirth, third wife, they had 10 children.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and most of them worked at the White House as butlers and what have you. And Mr. Ficklin was what they referred to as the head butler, so to speak. And the guy that's written the article is written about Rory is saying that he was 7 years old when he learned that his father, the son of a slave, was important. And that was in 1963 when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And he was sitting there with his mother and brother watching the funeral coverage on TV. And his father, John Woodson Ficklin, was wearing a mourning suit and standing beside Kennedy's casket and other White House ushers. And that was because Jacqueline Kennedy came to him and asked him to join the ushers that day.
Good deal.
And they're the first family to be invited to a state house dinner, and that was done by Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan, invited him to come and sit at a state house dinner. So that is truly a dynasty.
Yes, it is. Wow.
And for the Reagans to invite him was really special. I mean,
Yes.
see the Kennedy invite him, but then, I don't know. So I'm just going by the scuttlebutt that was out there at that time. So that's great.
Right.
Is this family the same as the movie that came out with Forrest Whitaker playing the butler?
The butler? I'm not sure. I can't answer that question. I'm not sure about that, but it is it's something else. So I would probably look to get that book, to think about it, to read about.
I bet that's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I think people fight so hard for history,
Right?
Because, and people won't eliminate history for whatever reason. I don't want to get into all of what their logic is, but it's great to know things like that.
Yes.
Be a part of that, and to know that this man was a butler who had incredible influence.
Yes.
On the president of the United States.
Several. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
They respected him.
Like you said, to be asked by Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan to attend a state house dinner, that tells you something there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting, Thom, is you bring out history, and that's what Worry was saying. He said, this is American history.
That's right.
It's our history.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So, and I read that in the article, and I'm like, yes, you're right. It is American history, but it's not always told like it should.
Well, and it's not, and people try to get rid of it.
They do.
Yeah.
And I don't know politically. I guess there's something about telling the true history politically because the president doesn't want it. The president says we shouldn't talk about it. He gets Pam Bundy to tell people to get rid of it in their respective universities and so on and so forth. And then also the governor of Florida. And so I'm glad that you brought that up, man. That's good.
Yes, it is.
Something else that's in the news, you guys, and this is not a situation to bang on law enforcement or what have you, but a lot of people have already suspected things of this going on, and in particularly certain segments of the population. There's an attorney in Tennessee, not an attorney, but a state trooper in Tennessee by the name of James Zahn, Z-A-H-N, Zahn. He has arrested 8 sober drivers for DUI.
What?
That's coming through Tennessee. And evidently, they had some type of program where they were doing this, and the higher ups knew about it and told him to continue to do that.
Wow.
Okay. And these people were denied access to their arrest records. Like one particular woman that lived in Huntsville, Alabama, and works for NASA, she got caught up in it. She couldn't get online and retrieve her arrest record to deal with it. So a television station, here we go back to journalism and free press, they got involved and started doing an investigation on it and found out that it was a program, and there were emails where upper leadership was contacting this guy and said, just want to make you aware of the news station looking into this and stuff, but keep doing what you're doing.
Wow.
And then after the story broke and they revealed all these emails and started showing what people were saying, and like this one that was in June 26, 2025, Nashville Sergeant Andrew Perez wrote to troopers that the media is closely scrutinizing everything we're doing involving impaired driving. Then he added, I don't want any of you to ever have to deal with being in the news, getting fired, or being sued because you were lazy or in a rush and didn't do your job the way you were trained. So continue to do as you were instructed.
Wow.
Now, after all this has come out, this state trooper that had 8 DUIs of sober people is now going to be retrained for 4 hours.
That's his punishment?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But there's more. There's more. There are 3 federal lawsuits that have now been filed by 3 of those people that were falsely arrested.
They need to make it a class action suit. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's horrible.
They were arresting them, had no proof that they had been drinking or was under the influence. So how did you even write a ticket for someone with DUI?
Where was it, Michael? Where was it?
In Tennessee. It's in Tennessee. Well, see, here's the thing. Like, for instance, in Georgia, they say that, the legal limit is 0.08. Okay. But the real law says if it's 0.01, you're impaired. And that's what they go on, is impaired. Now, part of the problem is you don't necessarily have to be impaired on alcohol. You can take medication and be impaired.
Right.
Okay. And then the way that they write these reports, police officers, what they can do is say bloodshot eyes. They'll just say slurred speech. They'll say different code words that would insinuate a person is intoxicated and may not really be.
Right.
Okay. But that's how that system works. So you have to be able to prove that you didn't. And evidently, they probably didn't take these blood tests. See, because they tell you, if you take a blood test and it come up negative, then you're good to go. But these people, knowing they weren't drinking, didn't have anything to drink, why would you take a blood test? You don't know if they're going to taint it or do whatever. Right?
Exactly. Wow.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's crazy. I'll give you a police story a little on a lighter note. When I was in Los Angeles, one Sunday, they ran an article on state troopers and the stories that people came up with to try to keep from getting a ticket. And this guy said he jumped behind this guy one day and the guy wouldn't pull over. And said they went on for about 3 miles. He's at 90 miles an hour. He's following this guy. And finally the guy pulls over and he said, "Sir, did you see me behind you?" He said, "Yes, I did." He said, "Well, why didn't you pull over?" He said, "Well, officer, I'm going to tell you the truth. About 3 months ago, my wife ran off with a police officer. And when you got behind me, I thought you was trying to bring her back."
That's a good one.
That's one I read.
That's a real good one.
Anyway, anybody got anything else?
I do, Tom. I don't know if you all have seen this documentary that's out now called The Alabama Solution. I got a chance to go see that last week here in Birmingham. It is a 2025 HBO documentary that was directed by Andrew Jarecki and Charlotte Kaufman and co-produced by Beth Shelburne, who is a local journalist here in Birmingham. And it is a documentary focusing on Alabama's prison system through the eyes of incarcerated leaders who exposed the cover-up and all of the abuse and mismanagement of the Alabama prison system. If you haven't seen it, please go look at it. It is out on HBO and on Amazon Prime. It's not in the movie theaters at all, but it was Academy Award nominated, and they were up for a Grammy. I'm sorry, an Emmy. And they didn't win, but it should have. I mean, there was probably about 600 people at this premiere on last weekend. I don't think there was a dry eye in the room after watching this documentary. It is unbelievable, the abuse and the ill treatment of these incarcerated loved ones, as one of the ladies shared with us after the movie premiere.
Well, tell us the name of it again now.
It's called The Alabama Solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you find it?
You can find it on HBO and also on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah, it's almost 2 hours, but it's well worth the time to look at it. it opened my eyes about some things in our prison system here that's more like a slavery system, to be honest with you. A lot of these people have been incarcerated for so long. Many of them have been up for parole and have been denied for parole over and over again without any rationale. Some of them probably should have never been incarcerated. Many of them are put in solitary confinement for no reason, just for speaking out against the abuse that they're receiving there in the prison system. It is a well done documentary. So please go take a look at it.
No, I will try and do that.
Yes.
That's interesting.
It is.
Man, I've only visited a jail one time. A guy I grew up with was in jail for robbery or something. I don't know, something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just finished college, man. And, I was a broke college student. And somebody told me he was in there, and I went down to see him. And I'd never been, and that's the only time I've ever been. And we talked for a while. Of course, he swore he didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Most of the time, you're not in jail if you didn't do anything wrong. And I swear I had $2. He asked me for some money. I said, well, man, I only got $2. He said, well, give me one. Wow. It's like, okay, right. I can give you one, and I'll keep one. And he got out, and I don't think he ever went back. And that was the good thing about that part of that story.
Yes.
He got out, and he did whatever he was supposed to do to meet the system's requirements. But he's never gone back. He never did anything to go back.
Right.
And I was proud of that for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that movie out.
Please do.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing. Did you guys happen to watch the Oscars the other night?
I watched parts of it.
I did not. It's interesting because they how primarily the women dress, because the men can't dress like this. But they have they show what they call side boob. You can see the side of the boobs, and now they had side butt views where half their butt was hanging out, and you could see that, and it's like, well, that's Hollywood, I guess.
I guess so. Oh, yeah. You can see some of that in Birmingham. You don't have to go to Hollywood. I was out to brunch with some friends of mine on Friday, and we happen to have been talking about how this new generation dress any kind of way, and they just show it all. There's nothing to lead to the imagination. And 5 minutes later, in comes this group of young people, and sure enough, half of them were half dressed, and we were going just shaking our heads. And she's like, "That's what I was talking about." I was like, "Yeah, I know, I see."
Well, they want to see what you're working with.
Yeah. Some of them were working with a lot of stuff, Michael. That was our point. They're working with an awful lot that shouldn't be exposed to.
It's a different world.
It is a different world.
If you lived down here by the beach, you'll see them in the supermarkets with thongs on.
Oh gosh.
It's like, wow.
If you're going to you can take it to another level. Just come on to Atlanta and go to Magic City.
Well, Magic City was in the news, as a matter of fact. Tell us about that.
Well, it was supposed to be Magic City Monday last night.
Well, first of all, tell them what Magic City is.
Well, Magic City is a world-renowned strip club, or they call it adult entertainment. It's been in existence and a part of the Atlanta scene probably since the early 90s or maybe late 80s. But it's a type of club where businessmen from all over the country and international, if they come to Atlanta, they go to Magic City.
Wow.
And it's basically known for having, and I use Kirby Smart word, elite Black female entertainment. Elite. Okay. So you're talking about Hollywood. You had Hollywood in the ATL in Magic City. So, and the Hawks were trying to do a promotion. You know how professional sports teams are always trying to do promotion, even college teams. I mean, Bruce Pearl was a showmanship. He got the crowd into the games and what have you. So they were trying to promote this in Atlanta, and they were coming up with an idea, and they were partnering with Magic City. Magic City is also known for its lemon pepper wings, lemon pepper chicken wings and stuff. As a matter of fact, one Hawk player, Lou Williams, he was hurt on injured reserve and supposed to be at practice or somewhere, and found out he was at Magic City. And they're like, "What are you doing at Magic City?" He said, "I went to get some lemon pepper wings." Those some good wings down there. But they did have the lemon pepper wings last night at State Farm Arena. But also they had designed and developed a black hoodie that said Magic City that they were selling, and people were buying them up. And it was going to be a Magic City Monday, and everybody were going to have on their hoodies with Magic City on it, having the wings and stuff. There was not going to be any female entertainment at the games, but because of the fact that that's what they're known for, there were a lot of people that didn't feel like that was appropriate. The ironic thing is that the owner of the Hawks, he was on a sports station, and he was asked about this, and he said at the time that they ran it by the NBA and told them what they were doing and they were promoting, and they were given the okay to move forward with it. And then a couple basketball players, different people started coming up and saying you are sensationalizing denigration of women and stuff and bringing that in. There's no place for it. So then it just took hold, and the NBA called them up and told them they couldn't do it. So anyway, that's what happened.
So, but they still serve the lemon pepper wings.
They still serve the lemon pepper wings, and they had T.I., who's an Atlanta rapper. He still performed at halftime during the game. So they said on the news this morning, they say we still had a party Atlanta style, and the Hawks blew out Orlando 124-112. So it was a success, so to speak. Yeah. But it was a promotional gimmick, really.
Right.
Our friend Antley says, "I'm going to get me some lemon pepper wings, but don't tell my wife." Okay, Antley, we won't. Let's move on to Sean. We got to get going here. Sean's got a minute for us. Good morning, Sean. Tell us what's going on and got a minute.
And I'm on mute. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining in with us this morning. Y'all can hear me. You can see me. Good. I just came on to say this morning, not everything that shows up in your life deserves your energy. Not every opinion, invitation, distraction, or argument. Some things are just simply noise. And if you're not careful, noise will convince you that it's important. But focus requires boundaries. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to attend everything. You don't have to carry on in every conversation. Your energy is a resource. Spend it where growth lives. Protect your attention, protect your peace, protect your direction. Not everything deserves you. And that's it. That's your minute. Y'all go out and have a great day. And if you don't want to, then don't go up messing up anybody else's. Y'all have a good day. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this is Got a Minute.
Okay, let's go to our G-list guests. Hollywood's got the A-list. Some of them are walking around with side boobs and side butt on the dresses and stuff, but that's okay. Hollywood is the A list, and here on Tuesday with Tom, we have the G list. Our G list guest today is Thom Johnson. He's an instructor at Auburn University, a consultant and manager of a family business. I've been knowing Thom since 1970. I'll let him tell you about that. He retired from ExxonMobil, having worked in all three global business segments, led projects in the U.S. and international. He has lived in Texas, Malaysia, and New Jersey. Prior to joining ExxonMobil, he was a consultant in Michigan, was on the faculty at Auburn and at Tuskegee. He and his wife live in Montgomery, Alabama. Let's go see what Thom's got for us this morning. Good morning, Thom Johnson. How are you, buddy?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Before we get started, I'm going to let you tell them how we met in 1970.
Well, we first met in class, but we really got to know each other sitting at Haley Center between classes, just waiting for our next class. And we would sit there and and you would tell stories, and and so we got to know each other that way.
Were they stories or were they tall tales?
Several were tall.
What Sam's not telling you is that there was a place at Haley Center where just the black students sat.
The block.
They called it, well, it was a little more negative than that.
Okay.
N-word corner. And Sam would be the only non-N sitting there. And they be said, Tom, what's your friend doing? Or what's he doing over here? I said, he's my friend. That's what he's doing over here. Anyway, Barbara, you got a question for Sam?
I do, Sam. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning to you, Barbara.
Now tell us about after you graduated from Auburn, you had your degree in engineering. Where did you go from Auburn? What was your first job opportunity after leaving Auburn?
After leaving Auburn, I went to Michigan and was consulting, doing computer consulting in Detroit. Okay. And worked with a bank downtown, and it was the bank for General Motors, so it was a pretty big deal to get a place to start there in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And I joke because it did happen, but it wasn't really my fault, I hope. I drove the auto industry into recession, and so they transferred me. They transferred, and I'm not making some of this. I'm not making up. They transferred me. They transferred me to Houston, and immediately after I got to Houston, the oil industry went into recession. And this is absolutely serious. A very good guy at IBM who I worked with every day, he came to me one day and asked, "Where are you going next so I don't go there?"
Oh, that's great.
But after leaving Auburn, I started out in Detroit, Michigan, consulting there.
Okay. Wonderful.
Michael?
Good morning, Sam. Good to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
Thank you. I can't tell whether you or Tom were telling the tallest tales.
No. Yeah, I bet the block was really hot back then. Those tales going around.
I will say this much. He told more of them than I did.
Okay. Every time I see the word Exxon and you being linked to it, I think about Rex Tillerson. our former commerce, Secretary of Commerce. You know, I think the president
He
could
was
use some
Secretary of
advice from
State.
Rex.
Secretary of State.
Secretary of
He was
State. That's right.
That's right.
I think the president could use some advice from Rex these days, right about now. He want people to go over and send some oil and get oil over there in the Middle East and what have you. What do you think Rex would tell him?
Can you say that on a family show?
I know.
Well, Michael, I don't know if you got you do great research on your questions, but I don't know if you knew this, but Mr. Gossom does know this. I reported directly to Mr. Tillerson 2 different times, and before he was the CEO. Okay, so I knew him pretty well, and he was fairly candid, and I don't know what he would have said, but it would have been be careful.
I hear you. What I wanted to really ask you about is your project that you worked on as a senior about converting energy from wind into electricity. And tell me about that, and how can we use that today? Because, you know, there's a lot of talk about the grid that the U.S. has, and that is almost getting to be overloaded. And then we have data centers coming. So
right.
What do we do about data centers? Because everybody's saying that data centers where we need them, but they're going to eat up electricity. And there's a lot of talk whether or not to let them be privatized or the government involved in it. What do you say would be a solution for electricity to feed that hunger?
Yeah, the data centers, especially for AI, are incredible consumers of electricity, and that's a huge problem to solve. And I'll just speculate. I don't see how wind or something like that is going to solve that, because they're such large consumers of electricity. Just as a quick aside, one of those data centers that's being built here in Montgomery, I just happened to have had a student who was an electrical engineer that was working with the Southern Company and Alabama Power on providing the electricity for it. And it's going to take a huge amount, and what they are able to provide right now is just 1/5 of what it's going to need when it's fully built out.
Right.
And they don't know where it's coming from yet. So yeah, that's a very good question, and there's not a simple answer.
Mm.
There are talks of multiple data centers being built here in the Birmingham area, and the same question comes about: how are they going to supply them with the energy that they need? It's going to take away from consumers, the house,
Oh yes,
individual households, and no one has an answer.
And potentially raise the rates on everyone.
Yeah, yes, that's coming.
Yeah,
because it's a huge investment.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's a problem where they're saying that people like Georgia Power and what have you, I think it's Alabama Power, Georgia Power,
mm-hmm.
just receive these large grants and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying, why are they getting these grants to build this out? And then on the backside of it, they get tax credit, tax credits rather, and stuff.
Yes.
Right.
And then you
It'll
have
get passed on to the consumer.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Well, there was a gentleman who posted on social media, I think early last week, who's saying that at some point in the near future, power bills are going to be equivalent to monthly rent mortgage payments. That's the direction we're headed in because of the expected increase in costs in electrical supply. So it's not, the future's not looking very good when it comes to the cost and the issues associated with those data centers.
Yeah, we're going to have some breakthrough somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is going to be it, but and I know that, you know, we tease the current president and stuff, but this is something that I really expected from him when he was running for president. The Trump administration has recently recognized the urgency and the threat for lack of energy, and you know, he was involving fossil fuel, but they have earmarked $725 million in 2025 to clean up abandoned coal mines, because we have 500,000 abandoned coal mines in the U.S. that's just there. And they have determined through Oak Ridge National Laboratory that they can be able to convert that into a giant battery storage place. And they're looking for ways to clean it up first, get rid of all the poisonous gas and what have you, and environmental hazards. And then they can go in and maybe turn those coal mines into a way of generating energy. So it'll be interesting to see. But this is the type of stuff that I expected to see from President Trump. And I thought we would be dealing with more stuff like this. So I will give him kudos for that. It's saying that it would bring much needed jobs and economic growth to former mining communities that are basically just falling by the wayside if they can work on doing this. So maybe that may be a possible solution. I don't know.
Okay. So, Sam, I got a question for you. Having been a student a few years ago and being an instructor today, and certainly I don't want to denigrate any of the students or anything like that, but how is it different in the classroom today? Or is it different?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that question. And what Sean talked about in her minute is relevant to that. There are two things I would say. They are under enormous stress compared to when you and I were in school, in college. Enormous stress. And they have great difficulty staying focused. And those are interrelated. And in my opinion, it's not the whole thing, but the problem is about fear of missing out and having a cell phone that's always with them, and so they are constantly looking at it, and they can't stay focused, and it's an absolute challenge that I had not expected when I went back to teaching.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't think about it, but you're right. I was having breakfast downstairs. I'm in the hotel. I was having breakfast downstairs this morning. Breakfast starts at 6:30, and so I just go down there because I don't eat much, but I wanted to just get something before we do this. And this guy came in, sat a couple of seats over from me, pulled his phone out and called somebody and started having a conversation. Oh. And it's like, man, can you do that somewhere else? You know, I don't know. I don't know. Well,
I'll give you two examples that I've had on campus. One, when a student was walking across a street that I was driving on, and there was a traffic light, and I had the right of way. She was looking at her phone and totally oblivious to what was going on. I had to aggressively drive up onto the curb to keep from hitting her. That's just one incident. Another incident, I had a student who was on a scooter, riding the scooter, looking at his phone, and I had to aggressively get out of the way or he would have run right over me. I was just walking down the concourse. I mean, that's just two examples. I've got many others where
is there a, I don't know what the word is, but is there a whatever that about using phones in the classroom?
Not yet. I mean, I tell them not to use it. It doesn't do any good. But they have implemented it at the high school level,
Yes.
or in the public schools at least, and private schools at high school and below.
Right.
And it really has helped. The other thing is their ability for social interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just impacts so much, but they're stressed out for fear of missing out, and they're on their phone constantly.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I've noticed that this group, I guess from millennials on back, perhaps, where because they grew up with the cell phone, the personal communicator, that they have very poor interpersonal relationship skills.
Yes.
And, you know, when they get into a group of people without their cell phones, they have trouble coexisting and contributing in a conversation, and even being able to develop. Thom, you remember when we were at AT&T, that's one of the things they taught us was about how to develop a person's social skill, and then you adapt yourself to them so that you can make sure that you don't have awkward moments, you know, in order to sell and stuff. But I noticed that people, you know what I'm talking about, Sam. So, you know, and these millennials nowadays, they have such a difficult time in doing that. And how many times have you been to a restaurant and notice a family, say a family of four, and everybody's on the cell phone at a restaurant?
No one's talking. No one's interacting.
Talking. Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. These kids today will text each other sitting next to each other.
Text each other what?
Sitting next to each other.
Oh,
they can be sitting right next to each other, and they'll text, you know, each other.
I saw somebody do that one day, sitting at a table. I said, "Who are you texting?"
Right.
Oh, I was texting Marie over here. I said, "Well, damn, she's sitting right here."
Right. Just talk to them.
Yeah.
I have a great niece, 16 years old. She can be upstairs in her room, and her grandmother can be, you know, 100 feet away in her bedroom. And she's texting her instead of getting up to go to the, you know, the room to talk to her. And I'm like, what? Make her come in here. Don't respond to her.
I tell you, if you want to bring some hesitation to them, when they text you, I text back, "Can you call me, please?" That just throws them off. It's like, call you. You know? Yeah, let's talk.
Yes.
I will say another issue, and it's lowered, you know, it's not as rampant as this, but lack of communication. They just don't get back. And all they need to do is say thank you, or okay, I got that, but you get nothing.
Yeah. Yes. That's true. That's very true. Yeah. Like you're supposed to read their minds.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough. I don't know.
It is.
Especially in light of how much communication capability there is now compared to when we were in school. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Sam, tell me what you think about AI then, when you bring AI into this and how rapidly it's moving. I was in a meeting yesterday where a gentleman said it took them 10 years to develop their software to run their company. And he just had his team updated, and they were able to duplicate that in 6 months' time. So now you're talking about AI coming in here and it's taking over. Now you're going to introduce that into play because they're already having problems with kids plagiarizing in college now. They're not doing the homework.
Yes.
Do you get that in your classroom where they're using
AI?
AI?
Yes. Oh, it's not as prevalent because we are trying to stay on top of it. The university is trying to stay on top of it. But it's there, and you're always having to watch for it. but usually there's some red flags that will show if they're just giving you unadulterated AI answers. But but this is something that's very new that I've only seen this year. The students are terrified about their future employment because of AI now. I mean, just across the board, because, and I've had other feedback, the jobs they're going to have in 5 years don't exist today.
Right. Right.
And so they don't have a real, they're not confident about how they prepare for that.
Right. I can understand that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can too.
But AI is going to make tremendous changes across the board. It's not just in certain areas. It's
Right.
very broad.
So, and I guess that influences how they choose a major and so on and so forth.
Exactly. Huh? They are really perplexed. And I've seen that just this year and it's new, the students being so perplexed about what to major in and what their jobs are going to be, or if they'll even be able to get a job.
Right.
I mean, they are really concerned about AI.
Yeah.
So it's not just about using it to get through classes to help themselves. They're concerned about how it will impact their careers.
Yes.
Is engineering one of those professions that it will not, or will it? How would it impact that?
It will impact, in my opinion, it's going to impact just about every profession.
Right.
It will reduce the workforce perhaps, or change the kind of work that they're going to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to impact all careers except those that are technical. And I mean, like the services kind of industries, like plumbers and electricians and things of that nature. I don't think it's going to impact them as much, because those kind of services, machines can do some of it.
I don't disagree with you, Barbara, but I will tell you that I've had students talking about robots eliminating some of those jobs.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's how pervasive AI is.
Wow.
And we're just getting started in it.
And it's in areas you wouldn't necessarily think would be affected.
Right.
But it's a big deal in the negotiations between the actors and the producers, because the producers can take somebody and make them look like me, make them sound like me, and put them in a movie.
That's
or put them in a commercial and never use me.
Right.
And that's a big deal now in Hollywood negotiations. So,
but that's where you need to trademark your likeness, don't you?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I guess that'll be the next thing.
The next phase.
Somebody will teach us how to defend ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. You got to trademark your likeness so that they can't use it.
Yeah.
But think about that. You are yourself. You were born Thom Gossom Jr. And now you in a day where you need to trademark your likeness.
Name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
Your own NIL.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, that's where we are. So
that's true.
We'll see as we go forward.
Right. Sam, I was going to ask you about your time in Malaysia. There's so many people now talking about, moving to other countries. How was it? Was it difficult for you all to acclimate to your move to Malaysia? What were some of the problems you may have incurred in that move?
It was difficult. However, Exxon made us, both me and my wife, attend classes before we could go, and I'll just be real brief and candid. The biggest problem with overseas assignments was divorce.
Oh,
And
really?
so they were trying to help minimize that. But we had about 60% divorces from overseas assignments. But so when we got to Malaysia and we had it, I mean, it was a game changer in terms of education for our whole family. It gave us a totally different perspective on everything. But I will say most days were wonderful, but the bad days were worse than any bad day we'd ever experienced here. We would lose electricity for the whole house, and things like that would just shocking.
Wow.
And what would be the biggest cause of divorce? Being in another country, or
it just well, here's what they taught us in the class, and I've since learned that this is not exactly true, but they were trying to get the point across. Changing jobs, moving, and changing cultures, those three things increase your stress above that of someone convicted of murder on death row.
Wow. Damn.
And that's the reason they taught us that all that stuff happening at one time, because it's a totally different world, different food. Nothing is like you were used to.
Right. Wow.
And it's a lot of stress. And that's what and people just don't deal with it well.
Right.
I bet, just a speculation. So if there's a typical household where the husband works and the wife doesn't, I imagine that was pretty tough on the wife if she's at home.
Oh, yes. See, my wife is a pharmacist, and she first was not allowed to work by the country wouldn't let her have a work permit. Only I could have one. And so all she could do was volunteer at school or something like that. But her profession, she fell way behind in pharmacy because the drugs change all the time.
Right.
Interesting.
So it was stressful.
I can imagine.
I guess when you think about that, you don't think about those things.
No.
I had no idea it would be that stressful.
Oh, yes.
But it does make sense. I mean, moving, new country, new language.
Right.
New job, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Anybody else got anything? Sam, you got anything that you'd like to talk about that we didn't discuss?
I want to commend the research you guys do. It's terrifying to come on here for your questions.
Well, we only make it hard on certain people.
But you're a great group.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Good having you.
Yes, thank you. Good to see you again, Sam.
I want to say before we go that later on today, I will be speaking to Sam's class. And that's always a lot of fun. And it is interesting because sometimes you'll talk 15, 20, 30 minutes and you lay out all this information and then you ask are there any questions? And it's like everybody's asleep. It's like, are there
correct.
Any questions? Some of them do. And I enjoy it. It's one of the fun things I do. I enjoy it. And,
he does a great job too.
Yeah,
they really enjoy him coming.
The kids they're good, and I don't know. It's so interesting. Some of the things we talked about today, in terms of the students, I guess you just don't think about if you're not involved in it, and trying to compare it to when we went to schools and when it was, I went to see my advisor, Doug James, and we sat down and did my schedule and talked about what we could do and where it could go and so on and so forth. And it was educational. It wasn't necessarily easy, but it was educational. Right. And you could go to people and ask what you wanted to ask, and they would help you. And so hopefully the students enjoy themselves. I guess I'll put it that way.
Well, I'll just say this. I know that Sam says it's very stressful with the students having cell phones now, but I'm going to tell you what was stressful for me was not having a cell phone and being 16 years old and having a car and my grandparents telling me, you better be home at 10. If you're going to be late, you better call us. Make sure you have a dime or a quarter and find a payphone. Can you imagine trying to find a payphone and making sure that you have $1? I mean, a dime and a quarter to call? Right. That's stressful.
Yeah, well, that's the point, is that the communication problem now is not what we had to deal with.
Right. It's totally
we
different
had to
today.
find a way to communicate. They have tons of ways.
That's true. That's so true.
In my neighborhood, it was when that street light comes on, you better be home. I can see you. You better be in front of this house if you ain't in the house.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, that was great. Thank you, guys. That was great. It was really good. Thank you, Sam. We appreciate you. I'll see you later today.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So, the accomplishments of Marla Gibbs. Some of you may remember Marla Gibbs. Marla Gibbs played Florence on the television show The Jeffersons. She was the sassy maid who kept things in line, but she was much more than a maid on that show. Now in her 90s, Gibbs is ready to tell the whole story in her memoir, It's Never Too Late. What Gibbs reveals is that she started out as a recurring character on that show and ended up being an executive producer with all the rights and courtesies and privileges of an executive producer. Her path to becoming one of the show's producers came as she advocated against stereotypical portrayals of women and Black men in the show. Gibbs said, unbeknownst to me, though I was walking an uncharted path, I was breaking barriers and making history in the industry for women and for people of color. And at 94 years old today, Marla Gibbs said it's never too late to tell the whole story. And that's our show for today. I want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. Thank our G-List guest, Sam Johnson. Thank our sponsor, Best Girl Inc. Thanks again to the TWT team, Barbara, Sean, Emily, Michael, Joyce. And as always, a special, special, special thanks to you, the audience. And that's it for this March 17th in the year 2026. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. You get it. You got an extra smile. Give it to somebody today. It just might make their day. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Don't let a day go by when you don't take the time to make your life or somebody else's life better. Stay safe. Blessings. Peace.